I really don't come across here often enough, do I? This place is awesome. Hello everyone, my name is Endeavour and welcome back to another episode from the single player survival series. And don't be alarmed, but we are not starting things off over at the Quad Witch Hut perimeter. And that is because I wanted to revisit one of my favourite projects in this world, and that is the Badlands mining area. We have spent a lot of time over at the Quad Witch Hut perimeter. We've done a lot of things around there. We've got all the farms done, we've got the perimeter dug out, we've got the storage area done. And yes, there is a little bit more to do, but I really was itching to get some building done. I really want to get some building done around here. But before we get started over here, contrary to what I've just said, we are just actually going to pop back over to the Quad Witch Huts and I'll show you what I've been up to. At the end of the last episode, I built a shulker box loading system. It worked extremely well, but the problem was I was very, very low on shulker boxes. So after the last episode, I spent a lot of time in the end. I've been to the end cities, and I went to quite a few of them actually, because I really wanted to stock up on the shulker boxes. We did get a few elytra while we were there. Got some other good loot as well. I tried to get as many end rods as I could, but I was mainly there for the shulker shells. So I was very thorough, and I managed to get quite a few. So let's have a look at what we've got. These 5 shulker boxes here is what we got from the last entry. Iron tools, iron armor, quite a bit of diamond armor, and I also got the potions of healing as well. And then the good stuff, we've got the diamond swords, diamond pickaxes, and diamond shovels. And I didn't bring any of the ones that had the cursed enchantments on. Don't bother bringing those anymore. And the even better stuff, we've got 6 elytra, few end rods, iron and gold, usual stuff. But then the main thing here is we've got 3 stacks of shulker shells. And this isn't actually all of it, because I have already used some of them up. And that is to put them in this thing. So if we go around the back of here, if you remember from last time, I was struggling a little bit with getting these full, and I think they should all be full now. Yeah, and I've actually started putting them into the chests that I've got up here, so some of them should be alright. I think the sticks one is going a lot quicker than the others, but the rest of them should have quite a few in, yeah. So they're doing alright. And if we look around here, we can see what we're starting to get through into here. And look at this already. Look at all this gunpowder. These are all full. Redstone, not bad. Glowstone, glass bottles, and the sticks is the one that we get the most of. And as you can see, there's only one, and that's because I've taken all of these sticks across to my super smelter in the Badlands. So once we get back over there, I'll show you what we've got in there. But before we do that, I just wanted to grab some of these shulker shells. Let's just take, we'll do 8 shulker boxes, because there's something up here I'm going to need for today. So let's go have a look. Yeah, so we've got these chests. They are getting less and less by the day. And that's because I've still got them firing out of here and down into the sorting system that goes into the shulker box loader. So it's getting there. I know it probably would be quicker if I just did it manually, to be honest, but you know, it's alright. Okay, so the thing I wanted to grab was some terracotta, because I'm going to be needing this for some building today. So let's craft up these shulker boxes and we'll just try and fill these up. Over at the Badlands, I do have an absolute ton of the orange terracotta, so we definitely don't need to take any of that with us. But the plain stuff, I don't actually think I've mined that much of it. And all of this is actually from when we was digging out the perimeter. There was a bit of the Badlands that poked out into this, where this blue water is here. That's where most of this come from. So I'm going to grab as much as I can of this. Okay, so for the plain terracotta, we've got almost 3 full shulker boxes there. Very close. So I'm going to take these over. I do actually think I've got some more of this over in my main storage area. But for now, that will definitely do us. And we'll keep these shulker boxes on us, because I know that I've got some stuff in chests over there. So I think we can leave the perimeter for now. And we'll get back over to the Badlands and get on with doing some building. And then I've also just grabbed some of the grass and dirt that I had over here. So we've got 2 shulker boxes full of grass and another one full of dirt. Okay, back over at the Badlands on top of my super smelter. And I just want to show you where all those sticks went. Now, this is completely backed up with lava buckets at the moment. I spent a long time doing this when I originally set it up. But I think sticks is definitely a better fuel source, and it's much more efficient if you're only cooking a few items in each furnace at a time. So all this is now pretty much full up with sticks, and I've done that on both sides, and I took the shulker boxes back across, and those are all back in the system for the shulker box loader now. Just under the big platform for the nether portal, we have this little temporary storage area down here. These are the chests I was filling up while I was digging out this area down here, and also the one on the other side. So originally there will have been orange sand on top of here, and then below that a few layers of the orange terracotta. So that is what we've got, and there's absolutely tons of it. So yeah, that's the orange terracotta. Look, there's just chests and chests and chests of it. It's absolutely mad. And then loads there. Oh, there's a few shulker boxes there. I have to remember that. Come in handy. And they've got another one of red sand. Another one of red sand. Yeah, so that's 3 double chests of red sand there. So that could come in handy as well. There's one there. And what's this? So a few shulker boxes full of orange terracotta. So yeah. The point is, I've got an absolute ton of orange terracotta over here. And I've got a few of those shulker boxes of the plain stuff. So those are definitely going to be the materials I'm going to be using today. Okay, so what are we actually doing? Well, first, I think we should probably have a recap of what this area is and what I'm thinking it should be anyway. Firstly, this whole world, this Minecraft world that I've got, my whole idea for the buildings are, there are a group of villages that all have a particular resource that they produce. For example, my starter village is based around honey, so that'll be the main export from that village. And then the other villages that I build, I'll come up with something, and then that'll be the thing that they export. And then the long-term plan is to have one big city where all of those civilizations come together and they trade all their items, and that should be a really, really cool project to work on. But the exception to that is this area. The idea I have for this area is that it's occupied by a civilization that keeps completely to themselves. The complete recluses, and I don't think there's another word for recluses there, like beginning with a H. You don't mention that word in Minecraft videos ever. Definitely not. They're a big fan of the gold. That's why they're settled in the Badlands. The whole idea with this fog effect is that they have mined this area, completely destroyed it. There's absolutely nothing left. So with that in mind, I'm going to have a lot of abandoned mines around the edge. So it's going to be like this valley was once a hive of activity for mining, but then it's got completely destroyed. The fog has taken over and it's completely useless. There's nothing else to mine. And then from there, what they did was they mined in the nether. And that's why there'll be a few structures, namely this bridge. We've got the nether portal there, and then there's going to be a big tower over at the other side. Let's go have a look. Because we've got this floating nether portal in the air, and that goes to my gold farm at the moment. So I want to have a tower built up into the sky where we can come up with either a bubble elevator or like a staircase, I don't know what yet. And then that'll be like a crazy blackstone tower at this side as well. And I've just been to sleep, and a creeper has blown up these chests. I hate creepers. Anyway, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, this civilization are complete recluses, and as they don't trade with anywhere else, I thought it'd be quite interesting if we just kept the build palette to what is local to this area. So that is quite a lot of options, admittedly. We've got the terracotta, so there's going to be a lot of buildings with the terracotta, and then as far as wood goes, it is just oak, which for me, that's quite restrictive, because I love a bit of spruce. I tend to use spruce in pretty much everything. Even when I'm building with oak, I always add spruce into it as well. So it's going to be a bit restrictive, but I thought what we'd do first is something I don't normally do, and I'm going to put down a block palette. Let's have a look at what we're going to be able to use. So obviously, we've got the terracotta. We'll use the orange terracotta as well, because that's the one that we've got an absolute ton of. And then I probably will use some of the other colours I've got around here. I haven't decided yet, but probably something like the white. I like that. Then, as I said, we've got the oak wood, so I've got the planks. I'll do logs, and then we'll probably have some strips in there as well. Even though this is quite simple, there's obviously all the other stuff that we can craft from the oak as well. So the buttons definitely look cool with terracotta. We can have the fences, and then we've got the slabs as well. Barrels is definitely another good one, just for a little bit more texture. Even just looking at this as it is, I'm actually starting to get quite excited about building some houses out of this. It should look pretty good. And then obviously this isn't everything. We've also got the red sand as well, and from that we've got the red sandstone, which can also be used for the walls, stairs and slabs and everything. So we actually, even though we're restricting ourselves to what's around here, it's actually quite a lot we can play with. Okay, so now we've figured out what we're going to be using, we should probably get some work done now and start knocking a few buildings up. So let's jump into a time lapse and get some building done. Okay, so progress has been made, and we definitely have a good start to this. I was very worried about doing this. I don't mind admitting that now. This is definitely outside of my comfort zone, and that is for two reasons. Firstly, because of the blocks that we're using. What I normally like to do is either the rustic medieval kind of thing with like the stone and the wood, or at the other end of the scale, I quite like doing the high-tech look, but I think this is technically somewhere in between. So I was a bit worried about just doing these like quite bright colours. I know it's not the same as concrete, but for what I'm used to, this is definitely very different. And the other thing was as well, is I knew there had to be flat roofs. And because when I'm designing buildings, I normally start with the roof first, and it's usually some crazy peaks thing, but I knew with the area that we're in the real world, an area like this would definitely have buildings with flat roofs. So I wanted to do that, wanted them to make sense. I was really worried that just look a little bit boring. Before we have a look at those, I just want to say I haven't got the interiors done yet. I have dug them out in some of them, but a lot of them are just very, very rough. Like this, we've still got the hillside in there, and a lot of that there is still there. Some of them are a little bit more elaborate. Like I've dug this one out, and then this one has a way up into the building above, because we have this area at the front here, but there's actually no way into this building. And I do have this one around the back, and then this goes to a little passageway. I'm gonna fix all this up, and this will look a lot cooler. But I want it to have like all these little like alleyways and stuff. I thought it made sense with these kind of builds. And I just want to mention as well, when I was doing my little block palette, which I've removed now because I've done this little grass area out the front, I forgot to mention some of the other things I'd be crafting out of the oak, and that namely is the campfires, which I've put out with the shovel, and the trapdoors. These are a massive feature in all of this, so these are definitely a great addition to this palette. And the trapdoors is the main thing I've used to make the roofs a little bit more interesting. So I didn't want to go for just slabs all the way along, so I've just alternated them with the trapdoors, and I think that does look pretty good. But the only issue I've got with this is that they're all exactly the same. I've done a little variation underneath the roofs. I've got a few little different things. Sometimes like this one is set back a bit. This one has the beams coming out, and then this one has the oak fences underneath. But looking from the top, they're all pretty much identical. So I may do something different to try and change that up, but for now, I think it does look pretty good. And the other problem with using all those trapdoors is you do tend to go through a lot of wood when you're crafting trapdoors. And as I didn't have a lot of oak anyway, even though I did chop down a lot of trees in the middle of that time lapse, I thought it was time to do something a bit different. So that's why I moved on to this factory. And what this is I've just built a building around my super smelter. So I've got this, and it was very nethery, and that's the kind of look I was going for inside, and that is a mix of the styles that I've. And as I've said, because of the story we've got around here, there's going to be two distinct building styles. So I thought it made sense to have a building that may have had a different interior in the past. And then what this society has done, they've come along and ripped out the innards, and they've used the new materials that they got from the nether and replaced everything inside. But then they thought the structure outside, it's alright, we'll leave it as it is. And this, again, definitely outside of my comfort zone, but I just went for it really. All I did with these towers here, this was just to box in the minecart unloading stations that are there, and then from there I just put walls in between and just tried to do a little bit of design on the outside. We've got the upside down smooth red sandstone stairs there, and then we've got the chiseled sandstone all the way along the roof, and then just a bit of the white terracotta on the outside. And I think this has turned out really, really good. It's a little bit different to the houses, but obviously that makes sense with it being a bit more of an industrial thing, but I think it definitely fits with the theme. Okay, I also forgot to mention as well, this house we've got here, this is where I put all my shulker boxes after moving from down there, and this is where I've been sleeping. And then the last thing I did, nice and easy, just filled this area in with a lot of grass. And then we've just got this path going down here, made it nice and overgrown, and then I've tried to add in a little bit of lighting. Hello? Hidden along the edges, under leaves, and I think it's pretty subtle, but it pretty much lights up the whole area, so that's pretty good. Now, obviously, there is a lot more to do. The whole idea behind this is that this area has been completely devastated by the mining activities around here, and to make that more believable, we're going to need more than what we've got. 5, 6 houses. I need to make this look like there's hundreds of people living here, so I'm going to build a lot more of these things. So to do that, I'm going to need a lot more wood. I've come up with an idea. The story is that we're devastating this area. I think the same would apply to all of these trees around here, wouldn't it? I don't think there should be this many trees. These will have definitely been destroyed. So I want to make this look like it's been completely barren and everything has been completely decimated. So I'm going to chop down all of these trees. I may leave a few stumps here and there and maybe have some laid down. I think that could look really good. And we'll definitely get rid of all like the colours that are on the ground. We'll probably cover all this with dirt and coarse dirt, mix a few things in. I think that could look really good. And then after that, we need to get on with some of the mines around the edge, won't we? I think we're going to have them around this level. Actually, there's probably going to be at quite a few different levels. So I think I want to have them down here. And I don't necessarily want to make them accessible. What I think I want to do is build like remnants of bridges that have collapsed. So probably using the campfires and the slabs. Having them come along and then like broken and maybe bits on the ground lower down. I think that could look really good as well. So yeah, definitely got a lot to do. But I think the progress we've made today, definitely a very, very good start. So I'm really, really happy with how this has gone. But I think for today, that is definitely going to have to do it. We've made some good progress, and I've definitely got an idea for how this area is going to look now. So, if you have enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.